This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
MVIL pays dividend to Kumul Consolidated Holdings. Lands Minister John Rosso highlights land protection for the country. And SP Brewery on achieving carbon neutrality by 2030. Good evening, you're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Motor Vehicles Insurance Limited has given its final dividend for the financial year 2021. MVIL Chief Executive Officer Michael Markup presented a check of 16.8 million kina to Kumul Consolidated Holdings in the presence of State Enterprises Minister William Duma today at the Kumul Consolidated Holdings office in Port Moresby. The Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited announced the final dividend for the financial year 2021. Chief Executive Officer Michael Markup said the effects of the Russia-Ukraine war resulted in the disruptions of supply chains for the imports of new vehicles. MVIL recorded a net profit after tax of 74 million kina, which is a reduced profit of 14% compared to the previous year. CEO Markup made the announcement.
So MVIL's business has been impacted as well, but we have actually embraced a lot of efficiency in the way we do things, and cost control is probably one of the major issues that we have brought in, and as a result we saw our bottom line has delivered profit, not as good as what we'd like and also as good as what we've actually delivered in the last 3-4 years. And so that leaves us with a balance which we now are paying. It's 16.8 million. And so that brings us to a total of 36 million kina as 2021 dividend.
Kumul Consolidated Holdings Managing Director Professor David Kavanamur acknowledged the contribution of MVIL as a state-owned entity.
I'd like to, on behalf of KCH management, I'd like to thank the Motor Vehicle CEO and the chairman.
Minister responsible for state enterprises, William Duma, commended MVIL Board of Directors and management team.
MVIL will be the second such SOE to do very well in terms of declaring dividends and receiving net operating profit after tax of more than 50 million. And the professionalism of the board, led by our chairman and his directors, and the CEO led by Markup and his team.
Motor Vehicle Insurance Limited paid an interim dividend of 20 million kina in August this year. Today's payment of 16.8 million kina adds up to 36.8 million kina for the 2021 financial year. As plights continue over land around the country, Minister for Land, Physical Planning and Urbanization, John Rosso, has extended an invitation to various districts and DDAs to work closely with the Lands Department and acquire land titles in order to protect key infrastructure land in the province.
As business houses, private organizations and individuals continue to fight over land, where communities and local land custodians are affected, Minister for Lands, Physical Planning and Urbanization John Rosso wants district members to obtain land titles in their respective districts. He said this is in order to protect their land from illegal land grabbing, as well as DDAs to have titles over the land in the district so that they could use for development purposes.
Extend this invitation to all our other members of parliament, especially in urban areas, that to protect their towns and cities and for the key infrastructure and to stop from land grabbing by external forces, especially other people who have vested interests. I'd like to also ask them that they follow the example of a good member for Groka and our Minister for Agriculture to come and ensure that they get titles for their sporting fields, for their towns, to be put under the district development authorities so that they can be protected from unscrupulous people.
Rosso is encouraging local leaders to acquire land titles for sporting fields, recreational areas and empty land so that these land portions are protected for safe public use and the district planners to use for when there is a need for city or towns to expand.
Like what I have experienced in my own city of Leh. So now all the titles for the city of Leh are now sitting safely with the Leh City Authority, and I would like to commend that to the other members of parliament, especially for the other DDAs, to ensure that they also protect their assets like sporting recreational fields, district offices where they intend to expand for public use especially.
Rosso said as the country is developing, towns and cities play a major role in the development of the country, and therefore provinces need to protect their land if they are to grow and develop their towns and cities so as to protecting their land and keeping it safe from illegal land grabbing that is currently faced in the country. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
Minister for Lands, Physical Planning and Urbanization, John Rosso, says land portions in various towns and cities in the country will be expanded. He says with only 4% of land space available, certain land space in major towns and cities will be cleared and developed to extend city boundaries and to create more new suburbs. Minister Rosso made these comments earlier this week.
Cities of Port Moresby, Leh, Madang, a few other cities that will be Goroka, that will be looking at trying to expand some of the city boundaries to capture building new suburbs because of the plight of a lot of people who do not have good homes to live in. So the government is looking at acquiring some land to expand towns and cities. We're growing short on land. We've only got 4% of land in PNG, which is alienated land, so we'll be working closely with brokers to see if we can be able to assist in that, not only for expansion of suburbs, but also for industrial purposes and agricultural purposes.
SP Brewery is taking a step forward to combat climate change by setting its aim and goal to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. This was announced by the SP Brewery General Manager, Corporate Affairs, John Nilkare.
Climate change is already affecting the entire world with extreme weather conditions such as drought, heavy rains, floods and landslides becoming more frequent, including rising sea levels and loss of biodiversity. In order to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, a target that was laid down in the Paris Agreement signed by 195 countries, including PNG, whilst the government and other business organizations in the country focus on achieving this target by 2050, SP Brewery has aimed to be carbon neutral.
Aims and goals of being carbon neutral. So all of our productions, all the machines that we make our beer and everything, it's not going to emit any carbon dioxide into the atmosphere anymore. That's our goal by 2030. So we're already working towards that. And then we'll be introducing like solar panels into the brewery. So we save on that, and then also we're investing in some wastewater treatment plant so that we treat our water before we discharge it into the municipal system. So protecting our environment is also really close to our heart, just like investing in our people, because at the end of the day, we can do everything, but if we don't have a safe, secure environment to live and operate in, our kids are not going to have a nice, bright future.
Nilkare said this is an important step towards safeguarding the future generation of this country. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
The Chief Executive Officer of PNG Power, Obed Bhatia, in a media statement clarified on the 3 days power outage experience in the Highlands region. Mr. Bhatia said the unscheduled outage was due to a voltage transformer failure located at the Ramu Hydropower Station switchyard. The situation was restored on Monday.
PNG Power Chief Executive Officer Obed Bhatia said the disruption was very unfortunate and required all island centers to operate from standby generators and limited local power supplies whilst the issue was rectified. CO Bhatia added that the delay in restoration of power supply was also due to the challenge of securing and moving the transformer to Yonki. PNG Power will undertake a planned power outage on the lines supplying the island's region on the 6th of this month for the team to undertake full replacement of the voltage transformer. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Police Association has given an ultimatum of 48 hours to provincial and community leaders in the Hela province to bring the suspects involved in the death of Senior Constable Nelson Kalinda to justice. The association has issued the notice to the provincial leaders to bring the suspects in, or police will withdraw all its personnel from the Hela province.
Police Association President Lowa Tambua has referred to the killing of Senior Constable late Nelson Kalinda as barbaric and a horrific murder of a lone police officer in the Hela province, a primitive act that is against the security forces. President Tambua added that security personnel are there to provide safety and to support the government's development policies. However, the people there must assist security personnel. Mr. Tambua said the suspects allegedly involved in the killing of Senior Constable Kalinda must state their reasons as to why they conducted this horrific act. The Police Association president wants the killers to be responsible for the killing, including making peace with the Kalinda family. Meanwhile, attempts to get comments from Hela Governor Philip Undialu today were unsuccessful. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
A total of 52 police offices will now be transferred to various commands nationwide. This was made known by Police Commissioner David Manning yesterday. Policemen and women will be posted to different commands throughout the country, effective immediately.
Commissioner Manning revealed this earlier this month during the Royal PNG Constabulary selection debrief held in Lae, Morobe Province. Among the 52 officers who will be transferred, 5 police women in various ranks, including 1 chief inspector, 1 senior inspector, and 4 inspectors, will be transferred. The announced transfer will also see 4 female chief superintendents, 6 female superintendents, 15 chief inspectors, 14 female senior inspectors, and 13 female inspectors. Police Commissioner David Manning said the constabulary is in a stage of transforming and upgrading the organization, which is embarking on a 10-year plan. The transfers and appointments of these officers have been made to reinforce accountability and leadership in the various commands. The transfers take effect immediately and must be complied with on or before the 30th of November 2022. This was alluded to by the Police Commissioner David Manning. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
A 3-day client outreach legal workshop program ended last week at the Gazelle International Hotel in the East New Britain province. This workshop was conducted by the Solicitor General Tauvasa Tanuvasa and his team. The Office of the Solicitor General was proud to complete its 3-day workshop last week from the 25th to the 27th of October 2022. This was the first workshop conducted for the New Guinea Islands region. Solicitor General Tauvasa Tanuvasa elaborated on the legal workshop that was conducted.
It was aimed at empowering the public servants that are throughout the NGI region, and by doing so, being able for them to then use that knowledge that we've given them to empower the people on the ground, so all the way down to the grassroots.
Participants who attended the workshop learnt about the functions of the Office of the Solicitor General and the difference between the Office of the Public Solicitor or the State Solicitor. He said his office is housed within the Department of Justice and Attorney General, which is the principal legal advocate in civil claims made by and against the state in the district, national and Supreme Courts and in the quasi-judicial tribunals.
A lot about the Office of the Solicitor General, and they are now aware that we are their lawyers at all levels of the courts. The Solicitor General Office we are the principal legal advocate for the state, the Indian State Party.
He announced their plans for next year.
Next year we will look at the Highlands region as well as the Southern region. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, there'll be different lawyers from my office that will attend that.
A soft launching was done today for the new BSP branch at Eriku in Lae. The launching was done by BSP Financial Group CEO Robin Fleming, who says the new branch will help make banking easier for the people.
Fleming says the new branch will ease the burden of long queues at their branches in Lae. Fleming says there are plans to build more branches around the country, including the landing branches. He says a second BSP branch for Mount Hagen will be built at Kagamuga, which will be opened around the second quarter of next year, including sub-branches around the country.
Off our branch here in Lae Top Town and also Lae Markets, because it's a 10 tellers. We've got 5 customer service officers, and it's predominantly for our Kundu account transaction type customers. So I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off these branches, provide more banking opportunities other than the concentrated areas, hopefully remove the queues, and equally at the same time the setup and structure such that it should give us the opportunity to start guide, counsel and encourage people to use banking that isn't necessarily reliant upon having to do it.
He says the new branch in Lae has added new jobs and they have recruited new staff, trained them, and they are ready to serve.
Breaking ceremony at Dobell 3 weeks ago, just near Kagamuga and Mount Hagen. That's going to be our second branch in the Mount Hagen area, and that'll be open around about the second quarter of next year. We did a groundbreaking ceremony at Telefoman last week, and we're converting a very, very small three-person sub-branch into a hybrid sub-branch in Telefoman, and that'll be open hopefully by
The Lae Eriku BSP branch will officially receive customers starting next Monday. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at 0.2840 in the interbank market this morning. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina today will buy 0.4335 Australian dollars, 0.2765 US dollars, 0.2749 euro, 40.57 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed higher, copra closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the All Ordinaries is trading lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Former Southern Highlands Provincial Police Commander Daniel Yangen has been appointed as Wewak Police Station Commander. This is part of the changes made by the Police Commissioner David Manning this week with the announcement of 52 policemen and women to various commands nationwide.
PPC Daniel Yangen has welcomed this decision and said his successor and the new Provincial Police Commander for the Southern Highlands Province, Joseph Puri, would now take charge of pending investigations into the recent Mendi clashes. Meanwhile, former rural commander for Southern Highlands Eastern End, Philip Kumo, has been appointed to Mendi Police Station commander. Kumo's previous position has been taken by former Mendi Police Station commander Mark Hanoma. According to the police hierarchy, these transfers take effect immediately and must be complied with before the 30th of this month. It is understood that policing in the Southern Highlands province is tough due to terrains, lack of proper government support, and the remoteness of most council wards in the province. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
Goroka District and Goroka DDA having acquired their land titles this week to a key infrastructure land in the district can now prepare to fix the ongoing water issue the district has been going through for many years now. Goroka MP and Minister for Agriculture Aya Tambua says with land titles now acquired by the DDA, the water supply and storage system for the district will be looked into immediately.
According to District MP Aya Tambua, water supply and storage systems are ongoing issues for Goroka District. He said this has been one of the major issues apart from health, infrastructure development, education, sports and agriculture.
For us to develop that water supply system, we don't have a title over that land, especially the water intake source and where the storage water tank is stored at. The lands minister and the department has issued us title over the source of our current water supply system in Goroka.
Recently obtaining land titles to land used for water usage, Tambua says the land will be developed so that new water storage facilities can be built and also fix the water supply problems in the district.
It's easy because we have title over the source, we have title over the treatment plant now, and then we have title over the storage tanks where it sits at Mount Kiss. So we are now moving forward to try to develop those three areas so that we can develop our water supply system.
He said water is not the only problem, let alone other issues in the district faced by locals, but water is a vital need for the people and something we all need to survive. Moving forward, land in the district will be developed upon obtaining land titles so that the district can be expanded as well as to build more infrastructure in the district. This includes bringing in more government services to the doorstep of the people. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
The Marape-Rosso government is looking at putting an end to important meats by 2025. That's the reason Livestock Development Corporation is working on reviving all state livestock projects, one of which is the Baya Cattle Ranch in Western Highlands Province.
According to Terry Coim, Managing Director of Livestock Development Corporation, the state needs cooperation from landowners in this regard. The LDC team and Livestock Minister is expected to visit Baya to speak to the people and get preparations done to restore the cattle ranch.
We cannot talk about exporting when we are now importing. At the same time, we don't have enough to feed ourselves. So right now we're not looking at export. We're now thinking about how can we put meat on the table, on dinner tables for PNG families, so they can be able to have access to good meat and not just eating offals.
It is understood that the rural community where Baya Cattle Ranch is located do not have electricity and good roads. LDC is looking at developing the cattle farm so that such services can be brought to the community there. Coim also stressed that there have been policy changes to get local landowners take part meaningfully in such projects.
The livestock industry has been operating in a policy and regulatory vacuum for a very, very long time, even before independence and even after. So the Prime Minister is now taking a proactive step by appointing a Minister for Livestock, which now allows for LDC to become a regulator so that we will call the shots. And I believe by doing this, we can make it happen, because LDC on its own with 29,000 hectares of land, how can I produce enough meat to meet the domestic local market demands?
Meanwhile, Western Highlands Provincial Police Commander John Sagom said his men would be on ground to provide support to the government so that discussions on such projects are sensibly done to benefit the people. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG Pukpuks have kicked off the Oceania Rugby Men's Championship competition with a smooth win over Vanuatu Tuskers in the opening game of the tournament yesterday afternoon at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. Without the appearance of Pukpuks captain Aiden Toa, the lads finished off a comfortable win on home soil 39-13 over the visiting side Vanuatu Tuskers.
In commencing the Oceania Rugby Men's Championships, the PNG Pukpuks danced off a smooth win over the Vanuatu Tuskers yesterday afternoon at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. The first half saw the Pukpuks launching solid defense on the Tuskers as they cruised to claim the first half lead with 19 points to 13 as the first half siren rang. This is Vanuatu's first appearance in any international rugby championships since 2007. Therefore, the struggle was imminent as the Pukpuks continued to apply pressure in the second half. The Pukpuks did not allow any opportunity for the Tuskers to score in the second half, maintaining their dominance right through to the sound of the final siren, defeating Vanuatu 39-13 points. An adamant Pukpuks captain, William Kalai, aired his view on the Pukpuks win.
COVID in the past 2 years prevent the Oceania Cup going on. So yeah, but we know they will come strong against us, and we prepare ahead on this game. So yeah, the result speaks for itself. Yeah.
Vanuatu captain Tiara Ruben also shared his thoughts on their debut against host nation PNG.
My lungs are gone, man. It's just been a great, it was a great match. Unfortunately, my boys came out on the other side, but not too happy. But we'll take a lot of learnings from this, and continue to build and prepare for our next game against Solomon Islands. But I'm pretty sure the PNG boys brought a lot to the game. Physicality.
Meanwhile, round 2 of the championships will be competed between PNG and Solomon Islands on the 6th of November 2022 at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium at 3 p.m. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
The official major sponsor of the Port Moresby Basketball Association, the Credit Corporation PNG Limited, presented a check of 20,000 kina to the association before the last 2 semi-final rounds were competed last night at the Tauranga Aquatic and Indoor Complex. The presentation was witnessed by Credit Corporation executive representatives, along with Port Moresby Basketball Association president and the members of the association.
The Port Moresby Basketball Association has received a check of 20,000 kina from its major sponsor, Credit Corporation, yesterday afternoon at the Tauranga Aquatic and Indoor Center. This presentation was witnessed by POMBA executive members, Credit Corp representatives, and POMBA semi-finalists, including families and supporters.
Welcome to the Tauranga Aquatic Indoor Center.
Presenting the 20,000 kina check on behalf of the Credit Corp executive arm was Andre de Baco Pove, who is the Group Chief Risk Officer.
It's actually our first year to be able to present a check for 20,000 kina for the events this year, and we look forward to working with them over the coming years, and it's important for us not only at our corporate level but for many of our staff, so it comes from the heart.
The Port Moresby Basketball Association President John Vere, upon receiving the check, shared a few words of thanks.
This is much needed funds and timely, at a very timely moment, because for the last 2 years and a half, there's been no competition, and coming out of the pandemic, funding is very tight. So for us to get a sponsorship like Credit Corp, considering their position, as a corporate company and their involvement, is very much appreciated.
According to Mr. Vera, this check presentation will go into funding the logistics and operations of the associations for the remainder of weeks leading up to the grand finals. After the presentation, a free throw was offered to Mr. Andre to comment last night's semi-finals clash between Saints and Ultimax. Meanwhile, in the two semi-final matches competed last night, the women's division saw Saints defeating Chariots 31 points to 25, while in the men's division saw Saints also proving too strong against Exodus with a 39 to 34 win. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. After last night's match, which saw England versus New Zealand, result puts a lot of pressure on Australia as England came out the victors.
By 20 runs. So England, New Zealand and Australia are all in the same group. They're all in Group 1. Now only the top two from from each group qualify through to the semi-finals. The way it stands, New Zealand are on top of the group. England are second on the same amount of points as Australia, but their run rate, their net run rate is far better than ours. So we need a big win in our final round to up our net run rate. Hopefully England lose, or if they do win, they just win so that our run rate can be elevated and go past them so we can qualify.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report for the next 24 hours is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Now we take a look at the weather report for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City mostly fine, Daru fine, Kerema partly cloudy, Alotau mostly fine, Popondetta partly cloudy. In the Momase region, Ley City, possible brief showers, Madang partly cloudy with brief showers overnight, Wewak brief overnight showers, Vanimo brief overnight showers. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau mostly fine, Kaveng possible brief showers, Kokopo and Rabaul partly cloudy with possible brief showers, Kimbe brief showers possible, Buka partly cloudy with few showers. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City partly cloudy with possible patchy rain, then morning fog, Gorka and Kundiawa partly cloudy, then morning fog, Mendi and Wabeg partly cloudy with possible patchy rain, then morning fog. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kerema to Yule Islands to Hood Point to Samurai Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Samurai Islands to Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finchafen, seas 0.5 to 1 meters. Waters of Finchafen through VTS Strait to CSC and Long Island, seas 0.3 to 1 meters. Waters of Long Island to Madang to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG, Indonesian border, seas 0.3 to 1 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.5 to 1 meters. Waters of New Island to New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1 meters. And now looking at the ocean forecast, Coral Sea, sea slight, southeast winds of 10 to 50 knots. Solomon Sea, sea smooth to slight, southeast winds of 5 to 50 knots. Bismarck Sea, sea smooth southeast to easterly winds of 5 to 10 knots, tending northeast at times. Pacific Sea, smooth northeast to easterly winds of 5 to 50 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Thursday, the 3rd of November 2022. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.